The two hardest presentations is the one before lunch because everybody wants to go to eat, nobody listening to what you're saying. And then when you come back from lunch, everybody full, nobody listening to what you're saying. So, like we say in the Virgin Islands, walk with me, I'm going to walk with you, okay? Don't let me have to stay up here long. Anybody I catch dozing off, I'm going to stay up here next 5 minutes, you know? All right. And of course, the biggest challenge was I was about 2 or 3 pounds lighter when I came this morning. After lunch, look at this. I came here with a six-pack. I kid you not. When I came here, I had a six-pack. I don't know, I rested on someplace, went to eat, and this is what happened. So I want to say thank you to Laverne Marshall for inviting me here, and I want to thank you for, I'm not sure who is the brainchild behind this. I have learned so much from the time this thing started this morning. So much so that I sent a message to my senior vice presidents and saying, listen, this thing is opening up my eyes and my mind. There are some things that I think that we could some components we could use. I called another friend who is doing something else. I said, listen, you got to tune in and check this out. Because when Mr. Malloy talked about the difference between equity and equality, I was like, oh, okay. So never really looked at it from that perspective. So having the opportunity to now come and really benefit from everybody else's presentation this morning, I'm really happy that I have this opportunity now. So it's working for me as well. Again, thank you guys for having us here. This one is not working? So before I start, I'm going to say just a little bit about myself. My name is Dwayne Strawn. I was born in the British Virgin Islands. I grew up on St. Thomas. My parents are from other Caribbean islands, St. Kitts for my dad and St. Lucia for my mom. And I lived on St. Croix from 1995 until 2009. I've been an EMT since 1995, a certified flight medic, been to St. Croix Rescue, and I started in Massa Assist back in 1997. And I started because I saw it as a way for me to help people. Being an EMT and you've been in rescue, that's what you do. Initially, I didn't want to get involved because I don't want to deal with insurance. If people don't like insurance people, I want people to like me. And I didn't want to deal with it, but when I went to a meeting, I listened and I saw it was an opportunity to help people. And I jumped at it. And I've been doing that ever since. I took a brief hiatus. This has taken me around the Caribbean, and I'm really happy to be a part of such an amazing company. We have been in the Caribbean, in the Virgin Islands for over 30 years. Solid company. So I'm going to go through my presentation relatively quick. And the reason I'm going to do that is because we're trying to make up for some time that we lost earlier, because we had a lot of nice presentation and we had some that slipped in, etc. But we're all going to work together to make sure it happens. We have a little booth right over there. So if there's any question that you may have, any concerns you want to check on your membership, Nidra, our office manager, is going to be over there, so she can stop in and see her. So I'm going to just move quickly. If I'm going too fast, just raise your hand and just flag me down, all right? Now, here we go. So we happen to live in one of the most amazing places in the in the world, which is the Virgin Islands. Everybody agree? Round of applause. Good. All right. We have amazing beaches. Our culture is second to none. You know, we have great people most of the time, because sometimes we don't like each other, but most of the time we're good. And we have a lot to offer here. I'm not going to go into our healthcare challenges because we all know that. But one of the things, I think it was Mr. Lincoln, what's his name? He was one of the first presenters. Lincoln Julian, I think it's right. He talked about, Irvin. Sorry, let me tell you the mix up. My father's Irvin Lincoln. That's why I just make the two names mixed up, you know? Right, that's his, so everybody calls him one or the other. So he was talking about his dad, and that kind of struck me because at one moment, I don't know if you guys noticed, when he stopped and he paused, and I felt the pain that he felt at that point in time saying what he said. I lost my mom in 2020 as well. But he said in March of this year, he lost his dad, and he paused when he said, maybe if there was, perhaps, if we were someplace else. And it's always about having options and hope, and that's what I'm here to talk about. See, people think that Massa is about air ambulance. No, we're not. That's what you guys know us for. But what we are really in the business of selling is hope, not air ambulances. A lot of companies try to do that, but what we are here to do is to provide people with hope. And I don't know if some of you all in here are doctors or nurses and would have had to either say this or would have heard this said, or maybe you had a family member when somebody said it to you, there's nothing more that we can do. One of the most helpless, hopeless things. When they told our family that my mom had 2 weeks left to live, that was hard. I think telling my dad was the hardest part. But when you hear that and you figure, well, you're trying to accept that. But once you have opportunities or options, it makes you feel better. And I don't care where you go in the world, no matter where you go in the United States, there's always going to be something that can't be handled at that hospital that you have to go someplace else for. The Virgin Islands is no exceptions. There are a lot of things that can't be handled here that you need to go overseas for. But when you consider that the average cost of an air ambulance is about $20,000 on average, and could go up to $100,000. Some of them I've seen bills for way more than that. The average person does not have the ways and means to do this. And if you're going to do a fundraiser, a GoFundMe, or a food sale, that could take time. In business, time is what? In the medical field, time is what? Life. There you go. Everybody here should know the golden hour, platinum minutes. Everybody who in the medical field understand that. So we know we're already at a deficit. So to have your family member just stay there and languish is a hard thing to do. Back in, I think it was 99, a lady came into my office one day. All she wanted to do was sign up for Master. So I'm going through the presentation trying to tell her about the benefits. She says, no, you don't understand. I want to sign up. I said, yes, but I have to explain to you what it is you're signing up for. She said, you don't understand. I just had to watch my brother-in-law die. And she said that they had to watch him every day, die day by day. They knew he was going to die. And the family already, they decided as soon as he had died and his business was taken care of, they were coming to sign up for Massa. The entire family signed up for Massa. So time, for some people, is money. For others, time is life. And every person, if I had one superpower in this world, I think it'd have to be either controlling time or freezing time. Every cancer patient wants what? Time. That's all they want. They don't want, people think it's a cure but they want time for the medication to work. They want time for a cure to be found. It's just time they want. And when you have a loved one that's gone, all you want was time. So time is really the most important commodity for us in this world that we take for granted. It is the most important commodity. They don't make no more of it. What you have is what you have. 24 hours is 24 hours. You look at the average life expectancy, the average lifespan, check your age and you realize that you probably have a lot less than you think. Time is very important. I won't waste any more of yours. All right? So when you look at this picture, what do you see? Anybody? There's no prize, just anybody. You say stress? Stress. He got his hand on his head, he's in a dark place, and like it says, this is when they tell you it's urgent, this person needs to get this care urgently, then you realize that time is ticking. Fundraisers, GoFundMes, they're good, but they take too long. No, I believe, again, a Christian, reading the Bible and stuff, etc., understanding scripture, foolish virgins, wise virgins, preparation. Some were ready, some weren't. Everybody had the same opportunity. Somebody said, you know what, I'm going to get my lamp full of oil. Others, well, whenever the time comes, we're going to go sort it ourselves. But what happened is, at the 11th hour, when you need something and you don't have it, that's when it becomes important to you. So math is something that you want to have. And honest to God, hope that you never need as opposed to need it and don't have it. And failing to plan is really and truly a plan for you to fail. Emergencies don't happen Monday, 9 to 5. They don't give you an alert, a notification, an email to tell you, I'm going to check you on Tuesday about between 9 and 9:15. They're going to come give you a heart attack or I'm going to have an accident. That doesn't happen like that. So you can't schedule, but you could prepare as best as you can. And I don't know about you guys, but wouldn't you like, first of all, let me see how many people in here have Massa or some sort of air ambulance coverage that they are comfortable with. Very good. Sorry? How many persons have Massa or some air ambulance coverage that they're comfortable with? Right. Sorry? You know, do you have well? You see, the commissioner has the application in her hand, so please follow. She's a great leader, so please follow her suit. If you have not already signed up for Massa, Deidre is right over there. Nidra is right over there, and also if you need to follow up and check on your status of your membership, find out what zone you're in. And Massa is available to you 24 hours a day, 365. We don't, they said emergencies don't stop because of carnival, neither do we. Emergencies didn't stop because of COVID, neither did we. Emergencies are not going to stop because of holidays or weekends or Christmas, neither will we. We are always going to be here. We have over 200,000 members in the Caribbean and over 2.2 million members worldwide. We've been in the Caribbean since 1991. We opened our doors in the Caribbean in St. Thomas. So St. Thomas is our Caribbean corporate headquarters. We have offices throughout, 19 different offices throughout the Caribbean, from Bermuda up in the north, all the way down to Trinidad and Tobago down in the south. We're opening Jamaica this year, and we have 2 or 3 more countries that we're trying to explore to open operations. Now, let me ask you this question. Does that sound like a stable company to you? Does it sound like a company that you'll be comfortable being a part of? Those of you who are members, does this make you comfortable? Good. Now, we provide emergency air ambulance transportation free at no additional cost to our members. When we say free, people say nothing is for free. Well, that is true. Your membership is not free, but becoming a member, what you have available to you 24 hours a day is emergency air evacuation for you or your family members. We also provide commercial flights if you need to go have a procedure done. As long as you're going to spend 24 hours in that medical facility, we're going to cover the cost of that. We provide the ground transportation. As we say, we like to tell people that we do a complete bed-to-bed. This is not just pick you up and then drop you off in the emergency room and leave you there. We've heard some horror stories about other persons who were not members of Massa, and I had a cousin who that happened to, fell off a roof, broke his back, put him on a plane, took him to a particular hospital, and he stayed in the hallway for about 3 days. If his girlfriend was not there, then that's the only way he got water to drink or was able to go to the bathroom. Sometimes that's how it happens, but with Massa, we take care of all the paperwork and all the connections along with the case managers at the hospital. So when the paramedics come to your bed, they take you to another bed. We pay for the ground ambulance in between as well. I won't go over all of the benefits, but please, you can always visit www.massaassist.com. And you can also stop in the back, get a brochure, and get a card so that we can make sure that whatever questions you have, and even if you have gripes or concerns or issues, please, we want to hear them. I'd much rather you tell me what you don't like about me and what we're doing as opposed to telling somebody else. Tell me so we could fix it. We're imperfect, but we're trying our best to continue to be better, so let us know. Now, we don't think, I'm not sure about any of you guys, if you've ever been in a ground ambulance. Anybody ever been in a ground ambulance before? A regular ambulance? Did you go by yourself? Nobody else never get sick here? We say this lady? And they were, this is a real health summit. This is good. Ma'am, did you go by yourself? Did you go in ambulance by yourself? Sorry? I don't want to be in any ambulance. That's good. That's good. Drum roll, please. No, but if when you are sick, even if you're going to the doctor, I went to the doctor with a friend of mine yesterday. Because they were going to the doctor, and I'm like, man, let me come go hold your hand because I can make you scared, you know? So I went to meet them afterward, just to be there, just to hang out and crack some jokes. But when you are in a dire situation, I'm pretty sure everybody will feel more comfortable having somebody that they know with them. When you use an air ambulance, it's usually a matter of life and death. That means all your resources here have been exhausted. If you are going to live, if you're going to survive or respond positively, you gotta go. So that's really some people call it numbing, some people call it surreal, but it's a real eye-opener. It changes your whole entire life at that point, just to hear those words. We provide transportation to have a family member accompany you, and we also bring that person back. So we don't just take them there and leave them there. After about 5 days, if you're hospitalized, we also provide round-trip transportation to have a family member or friend come visit you. When you're fully recovered, we bring you back home too. We cover you worldwide. Our general area of coverage is the Caribbean, North America, including Canada, and Mexico. But if you got to go to Europe or some other place like that, or you decide to take a trip to the motherland, to Africa, then let us know 10 working days before. Just send us an email, a fax, a WhatsApp, anything. Just let us know your itinerary so we can have an idea where you are. Because we want to be able to make sure that we run all the wires, connect all the dots before, so that if you call us, we just flip a switch and we just go to go. So we don't have to try to, navigate. That we have everything in place already. Like I said, we take you, whatever the ground ambulance is going to take, it's going to cost, we handle that. Now we have 26 benefits available to you here in the Virgin Islands, 26. And we are in the process of looking at ways for us to be able to create more value and add more. And I'm sure statistics will show and prove that people respond better when they are around family members and friends with that kind of support and that kind of love. So getting you back home is very important. So as soon as you've been discharged or the doctors feel that you can come back home to St. Croix or anywhere in the Virgin Islands where you're closer to family and friends, then we want to be able to make that happen. So that's what we provide as well. Peace of mind. Not every story has a happy ending. People go on vacation and sometimes the unthinkable happen. And if somebody's going to be leaving here in a matter of life or death situation, sometimes the unthinkable happens. My stepmother was one of those, and she was flown out on an air ambulance, and we had to bring her body back eventually. And the reality of that is, when you have a family member who has died away from home, it costs money to bring them back home. We've known of situations where persons right here from the Virgin Islands have had to bury family members in the States with nobody else there, because the cost to bring them back was something that they couldn't afford. As a member of Medical Air Services, as when a member dies, we don't pay for your funeral. Just want to make sure we clear that we don't handle the funeral. But what we do is, whatever the cost is going to be to bring the body back home, we'll take care of that. Because we understand that having that closure in those final moments, very important for our culture and for our people. So it's something that we don't talk about. A lot of people don't think about it, but it's the reality. Like I said, we have a lot of other benefits. Because of time, we won't go over them today. Persons who need to have organ transplants. We've had persons from the Virgin Islands right here who've had to go do an organ transplant overseas. We've paid for the commercial flight for that, etc. We do have an amazing partner discount program. Somebody was talking about Plaza Extra and the market. Anybody use the card at Plaza Extra, the market? That's right, that's right. Make sure you get a master bag to put your groceries in so you could flaunt and floss. Yep. Master bling. Right. Now, I'm coming to the end quickly. I don't know about you guys, but like I started to talk about how idyllic life is in the Virgin Islands. Medical anxiety and life in paradise don't really work together so well. That's like oil and water. Nobody's thinking about that. The question I want to ask you, you don't have to answer me, but you have to answer yourself. Either you have a plan or you have none. You have to ask yourself if whatever plan you have, you are comfortable with. I represent MASA because we are the first, we are the foremost, we are the finest. We created the prepaid emergency air ambulance industry. Before us, there was none. There are other companies that sound like us, that look like us. And I stand here to tell you, not just because they pay me, I'm a client. I have to pay for my membership the very same way. And what I'm saying to you is what I expect. I go hard, I bat, and yeah, I know my senior vice president are probably watching. I go hard for my customers, my clients, because I want to make sure my people get the very best that they need and they require. And I'm going to say this. Everybody remember Daddy Friday from Jamban, right? He has this famous line. He says, imitation is the best form of what? There you go. So we are flattered by the other persons who have come behind and have done likewise. And that's why I say, are you comfortable with the plan you have? If you're comfortable, then good for you. But I would much rather have somebody who has a track record for 30-some years who created this machine, and like I said, we are not perfect. We will never claim to be perfect, but we're constantly striving to be better. That's why, as the Director of Business Development here in the Virgin Islands, that's my biggest responsibility, to make sure that I hear from you, So you can tell me what's working and what's not working. To piggyback on that, we talk about equity. It's not a cookie cutter situation. You have certain needs that this lady here probably wouldn't have. I need to know, we need to know so that we could decide how we can better serve you. So please, we want you to talk to us. We want you to tell us. Call me, email me. Please, not after 9 o'clock unless it's an emergency. Although you can call me if it's an emergency after 9. But please, feel free. And we are in the process of, we're now reopening our office in St. Croix. We had one before, and then we merged with another insurance company. But we felt it was time for us to start to have the Massa brand by itself. We felt it was time for the people of St. Croix to have their own Massa office. So for the past few months, I've been spearheading, dealing with building your office in St. Croix. It's going to be it's actually right next to the St. Croix Cancer Specialist by Dr. Del Jecchio. Sorry, that lady is correct. I just call her the cancer doctor. Right next door to her where Mike's Electronics used to be before. But you'll see the nice Massa sign there. So we're in the process, we're just doing the finishing touches right now. Please stay tuned to the radio and stuff like that and look out for the emails. We're going to be having a grand opening. We want to invite people to come out, come to our open houses, walk through. That is your office. That lovely lady over there in the corner, Nidra, she's dealing with someone. That's our office manager. So when you see Nidra, if you have any kind of questions, any complaints, go to Nidra, okay? Now, in closing, when you hear all that we talk about and all that we offer, when you consider that for something that is less than 60, what can you buy for 66 cents in St. Croix? Ladies say nothing. Now, how much is a pack of gum? $1.66, right? Okay. What is the cheapest thing you could buy right now in St. Croix? Like cheapest? What? Somebody said nothing? How much for nothing? Because I think even nothing costs. A pack of mints? A bag of mints costs how much? $1. So for something that costs less than 66 cents a day, that provides you with 26 benefits and the most affordable peace of mind ever. How come, let me see again a show of hands, how many people in here are Massa members? Please raise your hand, keep your hands up. So how come we don't have more members? Ruth, you've been a member from how long, Ruth? From like forever? Ruth, you were probably, Ruth. As a matter of fact, Ruth is the first person I think I signed up in St. Croix. Ruth Dublin. The first person I signed up, I swear she is the first person. So I want you guys to look at the comparison and really consider, ask yourself, we understand that the cost of living is going up. We know that. But emergencies are not going to stop. Cost of living is going up. Yes, fuel is going up. And even air ambulance runs are going to go up. The prices I gave you in terms of $20,000, that was last year prices. We know the price of the fuel has gone up by 25, 30%. Anybody here drive a fuel car? Any Tesla drivers in here? I want a Tesla really bad, but. But when you consider the cost of fuel going up and everything going up, not having Massa doesn't save you any money. Because if you do the math and you realize that at $120 per year, or that's a minimum, or $360 per year, that is less than $1 a day. You do the math and you multiply that by 20 years. And over a period of 20 years, you realize the money that you would have spent, which would be about like $7,600, something like that, if my math is correct. Over 20 years, $7,600. If you had to use that air ambulance once in 20 years to save your life or the life of your child or someone that you love, would it be worth it to you? Yes. And that's not even half the cost of what an air ambulance will cost you. So, again, please stop by, find out what zone you have. Right now, for those of you who are not members, if you sign up right now, we have a special that we're running just for November and probably up until December that go talk to Nidja and you'll hear about it. So please find out what zone you're in. If you need to upgrade, upgrade. The reason why we decided to have zones are our customers said, I want to go here. So we created zones so people can go to what we call the hospital of choice. You could literally choose what hospital you want to go to, and Massa takes you there. We provide a transportation. So if you don't know your status in terms of your Massa membership, please stop by. We cover children up until the age of 26, according to the insurance statute in the Virgin Islands. If you have children that are over that, or you have any family member, mother, cousin, anybody that you feel that you need to cover, please come see us and we'll work that out for you as well. So I'm going to stop right here. Thank you very much for your time and your attention. No, I was going to say I was going to have a prize for the person who did not fall asleep, but that's everybody. But please feel free to stop by our booth. We have a spin to win. You can always win something as well. Yes, sir? Oh, you want to speak? You want to speak? No, very well. So, are there any questions? Yes, Ruth. Ruth, don't ask me no hard questions, please, Ruth.
Because like you say, you signed me up since Noah built the ark.
Right.
But I have never heard about the mortal remains. So, is that carte blanche or that's an extra fee you have to pay for that one?
Ruth, you do some big words in a Ruth. Are you? How you know I know what carte blanche mean? I know I look intelligent, but that's
okay. Is that okay?
No, I understand you.
Coverage.
No, that is something that's standard. There's no additional, no hidden fees. There's
Thank
no
you.
hidden fees. When you become a member of MASA, the 26 benefits, they're all yours. You have a member service agreement. Please read it. One of the fundamental challenges with Caribbean people is we don't like to read. Read your MSA. If you don't have one, let me know. We can get one for you as well. Okay? Yet.
I'm not a MASA member, but this is the first time I've heard that. Because I've known other family member that have MASA, and we actually, when we switch over, and you mentioning that that's the first time. So whoever selling the extra policy, what you call it? The flight, huh? Right, the benefits, they need to, I guess, let the members know, because that's something that I've never heard that before.
Well, thank you for that, Manifa. And the thing about it is, again, that's also when you get your packet, it has a member service agreement. We have a sample one right there on the desk, right? But we ask everybody, please, if you're not sure of your benefits, please contact us. And you know what? You are correct.
Pamphlets, and you
are
have
correct.
a lot of people. I'm just saying, they go to they go to your job, and they sell like what basically you're presenting, but you're still selling.
Right.
So I'm just saying that my son had MASA, and I actually made him switch because I had somebody from a different policy that explained more, and it's lesser. And you guys in competition. I'm just saying that right now. So when he told me about MASA and he joined, whoever went to his job, they never explained all the benefits. And people don't, like I said, don't often read. They just sell you just like Aflac. I'm just saying, it's different, but now you're explaining all the benefits. Because look, Ruth, this is the first time Ruth heard.
And that is so, that I don't understand. Ruth, we're going to have a conversation.
She's a MASA member, and she said this is the first time she's hearing about it.
But we've always had that benefit, though. But I do appreciate your comment, because that tells me that when we're doing, and I don't like to rush presentations, but that tells me that we need to probably spend some more time educating our people. So I really appreciate that comment. And I do hope that my senior vice president and other persons are listening as well. Now, in the interest of time for us to flow, I'm going to cut it off right here. I want to entertain your questions. Please, at the break or at the end, come to the back, okay? Is that okay with everybody? Any master questions, please come to the back. Thank you so much. And again, thank you, Ms. Marsh Cole, and thank you, Ms. Dr. Valmont. Thank you so much. All right. And the commissioner and everyone else who's part of this team who put this together. Yes, I'll come to you right now, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you. That was really entertaining, actually, and very informative. So since when you could have entertainment and good information, right? Only in the Department of Health. Whoop, whoop. Okay, so just moving right along, I'm really been looking forward to this next session as well. But I wanted to give Ramona a chance to kind of I think you want you to tell us a little bit about the product while we get the setup. Yes, no? Yes. Thank you. So we're going to have a panel discussion. So again, mixing up the presentations and how we do our sessions today to keep it interesting. The next session will be a panel discussion, a little bit different from before. So we'll need maybe a couple minutes just to set up the chairs, and then we'll proceed. Thank you.
Hi again, everyone. So I forgot to mention what are the awesome ingredients in our Cultured Naturals body butter base. Sweet almond oil, mango butter, lots of vitamin E, rosemary extract, gooseberry oil, and some coconut oil as well. And it's all emulsified into the magic that you had today. So enjoy and have a good day.
That sounded really exotic. You think it could be good enough to eat, right? But it's really, and it does feel wonderful. So thank you, thank you. So we'll get ready for the panel discussion. And I am so happy to turn the mic over to Dr. Nicole Cragwell-Sims, who will be our moderator for this session. And the panelists, Dr. Brittany Dawson, Ms. Benita Martin, Mr. Dwayne Howell. Please, get ready for some fun times. It's going to be a ride. And then right after that, guys, nobody go anywhere. We have a wellness break with none other than Roberta. Whoop, whoop. Because she's going to make us, move for the health of it, right? Which is going to make us move. Okay, so give us 2 seconds to complete setup, and we'll get ready.
Thank you. Everyone, welcome to the entertainment portion of today. My time. Yes, ma'am. Let me know what song you'd like, and we'll get it together. Yeah. I don't guarantee it'll sound good, but I'm gonna sing. Talking about feedback. So I just want to thank the team for today. I think this is a tremendous summit, so we can go ahead and give them a round of applause on that. Definitely. Health equity and the discussions about that whole circuit was really missing a few years ago. And I think it's super important that we're here and we're having the discussions about it. I have the honor of doing a panel. Everyone thought I was amazing in my former life, as a hostess. And so they asked me to be here today. And so as you can see, my panelists have not failed by looking amazing. I'm gonna ask you guys to just introduce yourselves. Right, girl, do this. Introduce yourselves, name, organization, and this is gonna be very interactive. So we're not doing a monologue, we're not here to just kind of spew information at you. We really want questions, we want it to be very, informative, but really, really rich in the discussion. So feel free, raise hands, we're gonna do it that way, we're gonna do it that style. I know you love the sound of my voice, but just not today. So I'm gonna start with you. You just tell the people who you are.
Hi, so I am Dr. Brittany Grace Victoria Dawson. I'm gonna give you the whole name. And you guys said doctor with an accent because it's earned, right? So I am representing One Love. I'm a nurse practitioner and midwife by trade. I am also representing One Love as a secretary for One Love, but also as a member of the LGBTQIA community, the Alphabet Mafia, as some would like to call us. And I'm really excited to be here to talk about health equity around what it means to exist within our Crucian diaspora or Virgin Islands diaspora.
Good afternoon. My name's Benita Martin. I'm representing Virgin Islands Association for Independent Living. I'm an orientation mobility specialist for persons that are visually impaired. I've worked in other areas, in other areas with persons with disability, but currently mainly with persons with visual impairments.
Good afternoon. Can you hear me? Yes. Oh, all right then. So my name is Shalene Gums. I'm the crisis counselor at the Women's Coalition. And I guess I'm here to talk about it from the victim side and from the community side that is impacted by victimization.
Hi everyone, my name is Dwayne and I am from Arch Institute, and Arch Institute means or stands for Access to Racial and Cultural Health Institute. And we focus on adolescent, young adults, 12 to about 25.
Nice, thank you so much. Great panel, right? Yes. Okay, so before I dive in, I have to say, underneath my suit, I look very different. A lot of tattoos, short shirt tattoos. And I did have an experience where I took my nephew to get some care, and we were basically ignored. The lady was very rude, and we were ignored. And I was like, Nicole, what would Jesus do? I had to really dig deep. And the thing that kind of struck me with it, and we spoke about it the last time we all met to talk about health equity, etc., is just a frontal discrimination type of thing. You know what I mean? You don't know who I am, you see me, and you're like, all right, you could wait. I did try a little experiment, and I did go back in a suit from work a day, and I was immediately talked to, etc., etc. That is disgusting, really and truly. So, and they gave me a script. They told me I can't go rogue today, so I'm gonna literally read the questions. But each of you can kind of tell us, and like I said, it's very interactive, guys. So what does health equity in the Virgin Islands look like to you or your agency?
Oh, we're gonna go in order? Okay, so what I will say is it's like a catch-22 for me. So I'm gonna talk specifically from One Love. I think for us, it's around education. So health equity looks like education, educating providers and those who work in those roles, or even in every aspect of what that looks like, from the moment you walk into a doctor's office, since we're talking about health, or into a service provider's office, because we know that health encompasses far more than just your physical health, right? So as One Love, our goal is to kind of educate these entities and help them outreach and realize that care looks like what you're dealing with. Like, just because I look a certain way doesn't mean I feel that way, or just because I appear a certain way doesn't mean that's all of who I am. Because no matter what you look like, no matter who you are, how you present as, who you love, or your identity, it should not dictate the level of quality care that you receive. So coming from a provider aspect as well, I can speak on it to say that I, as a provider, as a Black woman working here within the territory, a lot of times you would think that we don't deal with the systemic racism and stuff that you deal with when you live in the States, right? Well, that's not true, because I look young. When I walk in a room in scrubs and glasses, they think I'm the housekeeper, or they think I'm not the provider, or they want to speak to the doctor. And I'm like, well, I'm hey, well, nice to meet you. So all of these things take a part in your equitable care. It's simply being seen for who you are as someone seeking care and getting that care no matter what that means.
So I work with persons with disability, and so I'm going to speak on that area of ability. And my main thing is that from the federal level here in the Virgin Islands, persons with disability are not treated equally as those in the mainland. So you have Social Security benefits, but they're the SSI benefits that our persons within our community that has a disability are not able to receive. And that changed the whole dynamic of equability, because you're not able to get sometimes this check is up as much as $800 extra. And it can be more, it can be less, depending on your needs. But we're not even able to access that money. And being where we're located at, that changed the whole dynamic of it again. So being able to first, to me, is change some of the federal policy will make a great difference for persons with disability within our territory.
I feel like I'm going to be the black sheep for the day. But I look at equity as us reprogramming our culture, right? And so, because I'm looking at it from a victim's perspective, and victims or people who have to go and reach out for care, they're afraid because they think that people are going to look at them the same way they looked at you actually. And because that's real, it becomes a problem, right? So I'm not going to ask for the care that I need. I can't use the right words. And so it's starting to rechange how we feel about ourselves and the hierarchy that we had. And like Dr. Brittany, can I just call you Doctor? I can remember all your last names. So like Dr. Brittany was saying, a lot of times ageisms, all the isms get in the way of how we can present care, how we can receive care, and how we can be equal in care. And that is what I would like us to change. I really would like us to change that. Because I think we would do better. If I don't feel bad because I can say diabetes and I say I got sugar, right? That should not be a reason why I can't get, the things that I need to get.
I want to, I know it's kind of going order, but I do want to piggyback on what both of those beautiful women have said. One of the things that I want to make notice for is that it's really important that we pay attention to our federal laws and how the Virgin Islands is treated. I think a lot of times we think that we're not getting the care or not getting the access, but a lot of that has to do with our colonial aspect and the treatment that we receive from the United States. And it sounds real power to the people, but I am really on that. And it really is important. My father was a sickle cell survivor. He passed a few years ago. But diagnosed, we have a huge sickle cell population within our territory, and they are physically disabled, but they are unable to get that actual additional income or access to that additional income that they would receive simply moving to Florida. My father was forced off the island because he could not simply survive here. And we're at a place where we are losing the heart of our community due to a lack of resources because we're not treated equitably as a community by the United States of America. And that is a really, really big topic. And then when we talk about domestic violence survivors and the victims of that community, we are looking at a lot of the same aspects. Even in care, it's changing your language and getting the educational resources these people deserve, because it's not just women. Let me correct myself. These people deserve. Because of that, it's simply asking the question, do you feel safe at home versus has your partner ever hit you? People will say, oh, my partner's never hit me, nothing like that, because judgment that comes from our culture. But if you say, do you feel safe at home, they might say no. So it's about education on all the factors that we are constantly dealing with. And the federal guidelines that we're bombarded with keep us like repressed almost.
Yeah, well, can you hear me? Okay. Well, from a youth perspective, and just to kind of piggyback with your experience about how they saw you, this is why I only use Dwayne now. I have dropped all my credentials. I don't use any credentials anymore. I'm just simply Dwayne. Because it really shouldn't matter what you have behind your name. That really shouldn't give you access. Right? And then we're working with youths as well. Those things don't really matter. I mean, it provides opportunity as more for looking for forward thinking and being some kind of motivator for youth in terms of, hey, I can achieve this. But at the end of the day, the credentials I have behind my name don't really matter to the population we're serving. And so that's why I'm simply doing now. But from a youth perspective, in terms of equity, what we have to do, if we look at healthcare services or those prevention, primary or tertiary or secondary prevention, well, it's about time, the access, right? So these services, and the commissioner talked about this earlier in terms of outreach and the time we do outreach, right? So the services are available when they're at school. So they don't have access to the services. And it ends just as they're finished in school. Or some clinics, they end at 2 o'clock. So they don't have access to go to access these services. Location, transportation, these are real issues when we talk about Vitran service. These are all issues that create disparity among the population that we serve. Now, when we talk about on the federal level, youths in the territories are at an even more disadvantage because even from the previous administration where we have changed priorities from primary prevention that really impacts youths to this secondary and tertiary model, which some are users or some have these experiences and we need to pull them back. But the majority are really to impact, we have to use primary prevention. And those funding are no more available. They're gone. And then for the territories are at an even more disadvantage because our federal funders don't see territories, and not Virgin Islands, but territories on a whole, don't see territories as geographic priority areas. And that's a major problem that's affecting equity for all demographics, but especially for the demographic youth that we serve.
And that's absolutely true. You bring up a really good point, yeah. And I like that, Dwayne, like share. I feel you. I shall be known as Nicole now. So like in my situation, of course, I would go back. A person like me would definitely go back and be like, listen, that wasn't cool yesterday, blah, 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 right? Literally, this woman was like, I'm not here to be, sensitive to you. I'm just here to do a job. Now, there was a younger person that was there who was like apologetic, like, I'm so sorry, etc. But she's also the face. So even though you're apologizing for her, she's the face. She will continue to do it. In my mind, I'm like, okay, not everyone has a mama tita to run to and be like, let me tell you what so-and-so did to cover that. So you have people who would just shy away from an experience like that. You all deal with very unique populations. You deal with multi-layered issues. So what are some of the challenges, specifically in the last couple of years? I know, look, if we don't have all day, you could do it in like a couple minutes. What are some of the challenges that you can share with us that you just, it's like burning in you that we need to definitely be looking at?
Okay, well, yes, Lord. Okay, so, right, like where do you start? Like there's a lot of challenges for a lot of reasons, right? To use your example, consider somebody who's been a victim of domestic violence. Their abuse is not physical, it's emotional and psychological. So they're already broken down. Somebody gives them an attitude like that, story done. I'm not getting any care because you're now abusive to me, right? Not just in Department of Health, if they go to housing, if they go to home human services, if they go to food stamp, if they go to MAP. And so if they go to MAP, they have that problem, then they're not going to get the insurance to get the, and then add the police to that, then add the court to that, then I prefer to die, right? And it comes down to that. I'm going to stay in my corner, and I'm not going to do any of that. Then add the fact that there's mental health problems, and there's not enough services for people who have mental health problems. So now, because I'm frustrated and I'm angry, and I can't get any care, because first of all, culturally, getting therapy means you're crazy, and I don't want anybody to think I'm crazy. I'm already ashamed because I'm a DV victim, or I've been raped, or something happened to my child, and I can't fix it. I don't have enough money because I cannot read the forms. By the way, could y'all shorten the forms? These 21 pages for one form to get, that just doesn't work for people who do not have the education and can't understand some of the words. Thank you very much. I get off my soapbox now. But you know, things to that effect, things like that are what challenges us. You go, you try to fill out a health form. I don't understand what the family history means. Have you seen some of the 21 letter words that you put there? I'm not going to answer any of them, right? So it now stops me from being able to get the services I should get, right? And so those become the challenges. So now we have to try to, when they're already in crisis and trauma from the DV, and I'm talking from the coalition, go through these forms, you know, with, like she was saying, explaining why you can get SSDI and not get SSI to an elderly person who somebody's taking their money, but the person is their caregiver, so they can't really get rid of the person, right? And those become the challenges, and they're very, very prominent. And dealing with them becomes very hard because now you have to get the person to be comfortable with you to start to go through the process. And that's one person at a time, because people are not numbers. And I know all the federal money and everything else is based on data, but people are not numbers, they're people.
So I will say a couple of things about our community and what's at the top. One thing was said about there's a good side of COVID, and that was people start being recognized and funds start coming in to provide assistance. One of the American Affordable Care Act, that allowed transportation to come in. Many persons prior did not go to their doctor's appointment because of transportation. More people have the opportunity. I don't know here in St. Croix, but I'm pretty sure there's at least 2 non-emergency companies that provide transportation to doctor's appointment, to go pick up pharmacists, to go to therapy. And that's something that is and was really at the top of the list, transportation to get around. The other thing that I think is really important is nutrition and diet. I was at another seminar and they said, oh, talk to the elder, they'll tell you. But the foods that they used to eat isn't available. It's not available like that. You can get these quick frozen canned food and their income. So having good nutritionist food. We're in a health desert to me because there's not enough options as far as doctors, appointment schedules, and then the other thing is the food desert. We are not being able to afford the fresher foods that you can get. We have our farmers market, and if you didn't notice, there's a lot of people selling food that they purchase, retail food vendors. So again, I think nutrition, I believe transportation is also at the top, and then education. We need to have more little small circles of education. What happened during COVID, Virgin Islands Association for Independent Living we were assisting our consumers in getting vaccinated. But that's only one aspect, because we kept thinking, well, what do they do after they get vaccinated? How are they still going to stay healthy? What other things they need to do to keep healthy other than just the vaccination? So we looked at the other components as far as diet, exercise, and mental health. And we went through, I think we did about 4 workshops in St. Croix, and 4 in St. Thomas, and 1 in St. John. And that's what we did. We talked about the vaccination. We had the Department of Health came. They explained everything. But then we went into the other most important part, the long-term health issues that have to be looked at. And so we provided information. We did demonstration on food preparation, and it needs to be happening often. So if we did that 1 time this year, we should do it 3 times next year. But where would that funding come from? I mean, CDC provided that funding. They gave us the opportunity to come up creatively with what we wanted to do in the prevention and the care, and then we did the disasters relief for persons with disability, and that's another thing. Many times we don't have the information specifically designed for persons with disability, and you think, oh, they're going to get it, someone's going to tell them. And it doesn't happen that way. We need to really look at the community, because each person in here could be disabled once you walk down those stairs. And we need to look at the issue of totally what's going on, accessibility. But I'm going to stop here.
I think the question was around some of the struggles, I guess, we're having. What was the challenges as a community? The challenges. So I think one of the biggest challenges as a member of the queer community, I'll use queer as over-encompassing of what that looks like, is just visibility and being seen. So a lot of times in our community, if you're queer identifying and you're silent, you're automatically accepted, right? No one's gonna question you. We see that a lot in our male populations, who some of us will know are gay, but they've never spoken about being gay, because they get more acceptance in the ability to deny. So when you have that, it's simply saying that most offices haven't adopted to the idea that the queer, trans, non-binary exist, right? So it's the idea of that we're sitting in this conference right now, all of us have on name tags, but none of us have on pronoun tags. Right. So you're assuming that I identify as she, right? I'm assuming that Dwayne here is identifying as him, but there are so many people in the world now, as we adapt into a more forward-thinking global community, that identify as they and them, or some of them who may be more feminine presenting but actually have masculine pronouns, because we know that everything isn't black and white anymore, right? We're living in a more gray diaspora. So that's one of the major simple things that could be adjusted when we walk into an office or we walk into any kind of government agency. We should be looking at adapting the use of pronouns. Even in your email signatures, your pronouns should be present. And that would be my challenge when you leave here today, is to adapt your email signature to have your pronouns, so that if someone picks up the phone and calls you tomorrow, they know that you identify as she or he. They'll also know that you're accepting of them when you walk in, or they need to reach out to you for something as well. The second thing that we see that for equitable care that I would say is really challenging is when your care hasn't been adapted to your needs. So one of the things that I learned about when I went to school is something called patient-centered care, which means that we need to be empowering our patients, which would be beautiful for our domestic violence patients, because then you get care that is given to what you actually are prioritizing as your needs. So we have a tendency to be like, well, you walked into the office today, I'm going to give you all the STD testing you need. I'm going to give you a pregnancy test because I assume because you're female identifying that you might be pregnant, but I sleep with women, so that's not possible unless me and God had a conversation I wasn't privy to. And then you turn around and you have these questions, but no one has asked me, how do you identify? Who do you sleep with? How are you currently sexually active? Like, just simply seeing every person, disabled or not, as an individual and working your care and their needs specifically. It's the same thing when they come in. So we have that, and then we have a culture. Being queer in our community is like being in a domestic violence relationship. It's literally being in an emotionally damaged situation at times. And Senator Sorrow recently passed a bill in the Rules and Regulations for an anti-discrimination bill, which is also centered around being discriminated against, not simply for your sexual orientation, but also for your gender identity, right? And when the bill hit the Senate floor, the question was, is this really an issue here? And I was flabbergasted because I could not understand, but then I realized I can't take that approach, because if you are not a member of a community and you're not directly exposed to their prejudices, do you really know if it exists or not? Exactly. It's the same thing where we see people all the time say racism isn't a thing. I don't know what you're talking about, but you're not existing in a brown and black body that's experiencing that. So having that come up made me realize that there are so many people in our community that within themselves are accepting and assume that everyone around them is the same. But the truth is through education, we can kind of bridge that gap and show you that there is discrimination. There is a lot that's happening. There's a lot of unconscious bias that exists for the LGBT community that we're constantly dealing with. And I feel like trans and gay men within our community and trans women within our community deal with a lot more of that. And when we start adapting things like socioeconomical status into that equation, it becomes even more a larger disparity. And I think that is the same across the board, because whether you're disabled physically or mentally, or you're going through domestic violence, or you're dealing with life as a queer person, your social economical status greatly impacts your equitable care. It's the difference in being able to walk in a suit and walking in dirty clothing. How are they going to treat me? So that care then bridges even farther and farther and farther away. And I said, so if we're able to bridge that gap through education, like these beautiful forums that we're having now, and having outreach programs and getting out into the community like Dwayne does for the younger generations and really empowering people, we can start bridging that gap in care. And if we address people solely as that individual and not as a number, which I love, you are able to then meet people where they are and get them the care that they need and deserve.
Yes.
So just quickly, because that's great. From the challenges from a youth perspective would be not bringing to the table, assuming that we're doing the right thing for them because that's what they need, but we never really bring them to the table to really find out, well, what are your challenges? We just make these assumptions about what their challenges are, and that's one of the things that we focus on, is making sure that we bring youths to the table, finding out what they need, where they need it, how they need it, how it should look, because that's one of the areas where, you know, we have this adultism, superiorism type of mentality, and we force that on a population who is very independent, very forward thinking, know where they should be going, need guidance, as we all need guidance, but people who need guidance still should have a seat at the table, and then we guide where they want to go, and that's one of the biggest challenges.
Yes, and that's perfect actually into a question that I'm thinking about, because we talked a lot about knowledge, education, bridging the gaps, and a lot of us kind of think, because we too assume that we may know what domestic violence looks like or what being a part of the queer community looks like, because we see things. So my question to you guys is, if you can, maybe 2 or 3 of the immediate needs that your population has. What are those, some of those immediate needs that you can share with us?
I'll go first. From youth perspective, that seems like what I'm focusing on today, but from a youth perspective, I think we talk about opportunities in terms of capacity building, whether it's job skill, taking away this one-size-fit-all approach and really trying to be more individualized. If we look at somebody who is having special education services, well, why don't regular students also have an IEP? Because our learning styles are different. The way we think, what we want is different. So being more individualized and more intentional are some of the immediate challenges. In terms of substance misuse, I think the biggest immediate challenge right now when we talk about substance misuse is advocating for legislation to create minimum purchase age for CBD products, which we know anybody can buy CBD products. There's no, from federal perspective, federal law does not put an age limit. So local jurisdictions have to enact legislation to prevent underage minors, youths, from purchasing CBD, which they can right now legally. And we would think that merchants will have more ethics and say, I know it's legal, but I'm not going to sell it to you. They can choose to refuse. So I think that's one of our biggest challenges.
I just have a part B for you. When it comes to adultism, right, and you're dealing with that population, a population that is wide-eyed and bushy-tailed, they still have all this way to go. What are some of the recommendations for adults who feel like they just kind of know everything? Because you're going to have, it's a lot of them out there in the world. But these children, like you said, are growing up very independent, this is what I want to do. But they're kind of forced to conform to a world that is still run by persons with kind of like tunnel vision. So what does that discussion look like in your shop?
Well, I mean, we call them old fogies. That's what we call them. That's what we call them, old fogies. But dealing with old fogies, I mean, there's not much you can do. So we just try to empower and give our youths the skill set to be assertive, to understand the game of politics, because dealing with these type of people, it's like you gotta be diplomatic, democratic, and you just have to know how to weave in and out. And so those are the kind of skill sets that we try to provide.
The needs, I only have one need. I mean, and this is personal. I'm sure the coalition will stand behind me on it. But we really only have one need, is that people would be honest with themselves and accept everybody as they are, not expect people to be them. Because I think if we could get the entire community to be truthful to themselves, then we would not have the bystander syndrome. And the bystander syndrome is my biggest pet peeve, right? Because everybody knows something after the person done dead, right? Not before, right? No, so after the rape, after the child is 10 and pregnant, afterwards, everybody knows, and we hide it. And as a culture, we've silenced what happened at home stays at home. The silence has killed us for a very long time. And so I think our greatest need is for us to do self-evaluation, recognize that there's nothing wrong with having lived your life. It may not have been perfect, but it should make you accepting of the other person. If you accept someone else, then you don't come with the idea that they are you. You realize that they are them and you can reach them where they are, right? And I think that would probably solve the world's problems. I hope but and the other need is really to understand that we have a community that's in an emotional stagnation, right? We're stuck, right? We're stuck on what we think we're supposed to know, not on what we do know. Right? And until we get that changed, a lot of our policies aren't going to change. A lot of our approaches to people aren't going to change. A lot of our approaches to care isn't going to change. And so we do need to move past that. And so I think that understanding that would be the greatest need.
so the top of the list. It's such a list. So within the area of disability is so varied. You have hearing, all your senses. You can become disabled and physically disabled, mentally disabled, hearing, speech, visual. So, and each of them have their unique needs. But as I said, policy is a very important item that needs to change. So our family, friends do not have to leave the Virgin Islands in order to get extra money to provide for their needs, whether it's a weekly diapers, hearing aids. If you don't have insurance, you can get them up there quick, walkers just like that, other items. So for me, there's a lot of needs I can break down within our community, but I believe policy change is very important. One of the things, though, I do want to speak on is with the hearing impaired and closed caption. Really, our hearing impaired community has been left out many times because of closed caption. During COVID, they were able to stay up with that news, but then during 2017, that was a real big issue of knowing what to do after the disaster. So that's something that really needs to be addressed, making sure prior to a disaster that persons with disability have been reached out to. There are now things in place, programs in place. Other organizations have come together, and Department of Human Services now have a, I can't think of it now, but they have a form where you can register for persons with disability. So it's making it much better, much easier to find someone. We had a staff member here, Ms. McFarland, and after 2017, she was climbing fences, looking for people. So we're a small community, and we need to get back to reaching out to people within our community. Finding, knowing that they're there, but also saying, hello, how are you doing? Many times people shy away when they see someone in a wheelchair and don't say good morning. And if you look sort of strange, they don't want to speak to you. Just like if a young man came and he's looking sort of rough, they might not want to say hello to you, scared. But we have to get back to that point of love. And I think that's a very important part of good health, is knowing that someone cares about you. I know I'm talking too long, but one more thing is recreation. The social aspect of a person's life is very important. You have persons with disability, children in the school system, and that after school ends, there's no recreation, no program. You might have parents that's working. And we have to continue looking at not just those who are able, but those who might need assistance to be more able. So thank you again.
Thank you.
I think our first major need would be, I would agree with policy. Currently, the federal government, there is a bill called, I believe, the Protection or Safety or Protection Act that's being passed. Don't quote me on that. I'm not really 100% sure of what it's named. But basically what it's around is it's protections for all of people, like your right for gender identity, your protections against same-sex marriage, anti-discrimination bill. It encompasses it all, and what we've learned with the turnover of Roe versus Wade is that no policy is safe, right? So as a Virgin Islands, we as a people have to adapt policies that govern and furthermore push our people regardless of what the federal government is doing, because again, we are operating under a system that is not necessarily governing in our best interest, right? So our goal as One Love is to work on that policy piece for our LGBTQ community. So that's our first big need. Our second is education around the difference between acceptance into your life and understanding of someone, right? So you don't have to understand why someone is or has chosen to live the life they're living. What we're asking you to do is accept and not judge or discriminate against a person for that life. And to simply live what we're known to be as a loving, accepting, welcoming community, right? So if we are all of those things, then what is a right for someone else do, it does not take away against yours. So that would be my next major point. And the third point would be the allowing people to live freely, right? So if it's not infringing on your life and your world, we expect each and every one of us to live freely and 100% in themselves and allow children to do the same. Because we are coming up in a community where our kids, those of the LGBT community are almost 5 times as likely to commit suicide, right? And if that's the case, and we know that mental health is struggling already in our community, what do they turn to? Drugs and alcohol, right? To cope with it. And then we start looking at health equitable facts, things like rising numbers in HIV, the rising number in untreated diseases, all these other things that then trickle down into that world. So my goal would be those top 3 acts. Let's work on the policies, let's work on the education, and let's work on the outreach and acceptance.
So I have one last question. I hope everyone is thinking about questions out there. So the world ends tomorrow with the acceptance of the Virgin Islands, right? And this is the last thing that you do or that you see, okay? How are you introducing equity tomorrow? Everyone outside of this is a blank slate. How are you introducing that to the world? Do, 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 do.
Such a loaded question, though.
I think it's not, though. So I think equity means taking care of the patient or the person where they are, as they are, with what they need and deem is important. And that is what equitable care is for me. It's meeting someone, it's providing that care, because what I deem important in their life may not be what's important to them. And we need to meet everyone where they are.
Oh, okay, so I believe that what we would do is basically the same thing. It's being able to meet the person at their needs and find out what they want and find out what we have left since there's no one else, and use whatever we have within our community for success in making sure that person get the service that they need, knowing what service they need, and then go from there and work from there.
So equity starts with resources. And without resources, we could have a pie in the sky dream, this utopic dream, but I think that it depends on the resources that we will have and how we're going to be able to share the resources so that we create justice among everybody. Just like what Dr. Brittany talked about, is meeting and closing those gaps. And with equity, I mean, if I need the care, I really don't care what the rest may want, but if we're gonna start with a clean slate, then the idea of collaboration, the idea of sharing, that's what I would instill in terms of how we're going to move forward equity. Is how do we share? Yeah, I need it, I may need it, but Ms. Benita may need just a little more, and I can hold off just a little while. And so sharing so that we meet priority needs, people with more priority, but that don't mean that you're going to be left out. And I think that's what happens right now, is that this person have the most priority, and then we focus on that person, and then that creates the disparity. Instead of still focusing, but say, okay, well, we still need to leave a little more for the other person.
Okay, I'm getting the production wrap-up hand. I just want to have a round of applause again for the panelists. You guys are amazing. This could have gone on for a few days. Very valuable information, and I'm sure each of you know where to find each of them to keep the discussion going. So just want to say thank you so much again, and thank you for listening.
So, again, a round of applause for our panelists. It's getting late. And for the audience who's still here, and for the audience who's still with us on, virtually. So, again, so right now we get to do a little more fun with Roberta. You know she's always ready. And then we'll have our final presentation, wrapping up the day very nicely, Dr. Michael talking to us about the road, the pathway to equity for the Virgin Islands. Okay, thank you all. Oh, you need the mic? Yes.
A pleasant good afternoon to everyone. You guys okay? Yeah. So I'd like to say a pleasant good afternoon to our hardworking Commissioner of Health. She's hugging someone right now, right? Yeah, awesome. And I saw the former delegate to Congress. I like to recognize, you know, people that made a difference in our community, paved the way for us. Thank you. And all the other dignitaries, names that I don't know, but we are all dignitaries, right? Awesome, yes. Okay, so listen to me. We need to loosen up a little bit, right? So I want you all to just laugh. Just laugh. Just laugh. Yeah, loosen up a little. Laugh, yes. Just laugh. Come on, laugh. Just laugh. Yeah, loosen up. Just laugh. Laugh, yeah. Laugh. Just laugh, right? Laugh. Yeah, if you got to laugh, just laugh. Just laugh. Let's go. Just laugh. Just laugh. Right? That's something different, right, Angels? That felt good, right? She blocking her face like, oh my God, crazy alert. Yeah. So my name is Roberta Etienne. So first of all, right, I know I have on a top that says Zumba. Like 90% of my workout clothes is Zumba, or from Zumba Fitness, right? So sorry if they seem misleading, but I am just here to demonstrate exercises that y'all could do when y'all at your workplace, behind your desk, etc. Okay, guys? So my name is Roberta Etienne, and I'm a professional career fitness instructor. And what that means is that I'm certified and licensed to teach many different aspects of the fitness program. All right, guys? I am 46 years old. I am originally from the beautiful island of Trinidad and Tobago. I have been living here since 1999. I left in 2001, moved to Puerto Rico, lived there for 5 years, loved it so much. Apart from spending some of my best years here, I spent it in Puerto Rico as well. Mi gente, all my Puerto Ricans. So, what else? So before I demonstrate, I want to mention a couple of important things. So before you start any exercise program, right, it's really important to consult with your medical doctor, right, guys? All right? I like to look at exercise, wellness, and movement from a mind, body, and soul perspective. Y'all feel me? Yeah, right? So we could take care of our physical self by exercising, physical bodies, right? But from a nutritional standpoint, if we're not eating right, it defeats the purpose. Can I say holla, right? Y'all have to participate, right? A holla, right? So we're taking care of our physical bodies by exercising, right? We're taking care of our nutritional health by eating right. But then we have our mind, right? From a mental standpoint, if we are stressed, our mind is negative, that also defeats the purpose. Won't you all agree? Like that table, the masa table, you all agree? Masa in the house? Masa? I'm trying to get everybody attention, but it's all good. So just as physical exercise, let's say, is 20%, the other 80% is nutrition. We literally are what we eat. Won't you guys agree? So it's really, really important to get your nutritional advice from a licensed dietitian. Even though I have a certification in nutrition, that is just for me when I'm training my clients. Let's assume you're my client. And after I do my fitness evaluation, I basically know what I have to work with. I was like, Roberta, what I could eat before and during exercises, I could consult you with that. But it's important that you stay within your scope of practice, which I have to do. So take your nutritional advice from a licensed dietitian. Because sometimes, as we navigate through life's beautiful journey, we develop special situation. I don't like to say disease. Whether somebody is diabetic, hypertension, high cholesterol, etc., right? So picture a person who is diabetic going on a juicing diet. You know how much fruits you have to juice and vegetables you have to juice before you get that cup? And then you spike the person's sugar level spike. And then I live in the mainland and get sue. So you don't take, if your personal trainer or your professional fitness instructor isn't a licensed dietitian, you can take any nutritional advice or meal plan from that person. Get it from a licensed dietitian. And on Island, I know Dr. Letitia Henry, she's amazing. I send all my clients to her, not that I'm being biased. And you guys have Cigna Insurance, and you all don't have to pay the copay. Technically, you all are paying for your insurance, right? But you go see Letitia Henry, and you don't have to pay the copay, and she's right there at you guys' disposal. Not everybody afforded the gift of having insurance, and you guys have it, so utilize it. All right? Really, really important. What else? All right. In terms of you consult with your medical doctor. We talk about nutrition, seeing a licensed dietitian, right, guys? Really, really important. Before you start any exercise, physical exercise activity, it's important to warm up. And you warm up with dynamic stretches, like movement like that, yeah. Ooh, yeah. Dynamic stretches, y'all feel me? And then when you get into the body of the workout, so let's say you're working out for 45 minutes to an hour, right? This is just general information before I demonstrate stuff that you all could do in your office. You're working out for an hour, 45 minutes, 30 minutes, right? It's really important to warm up. What warm up does, it causes your heart rate to accelerate, your body temperature to increase, your joints to get lubricated. So when you get into the body of the workout, your range of motion will be better. Everybody understand? Back, middle, front, yeah? Awesome, nice. So when you get into the body of the workout, it's really important to structure your workout to utilize all three planes of motion that the human body works in. Most of our everyday movement is in the sagittal plane. When we sit, we stand, we reach for something, we push something away, sagittal plane. You all don't see people in Sunny Isles walking in the frontal plane, right? Because we walk in the sagittal plane, forward, back, sagittal. Frontal is anything away from the body, like this. All right, guys? And then transverse or rotation is this. Right? So in order for the human body to be truly functional, it's really important to create an exercise program that utilizes all three planes of motion so our body could be balanced. Does that make sense, guys? Yeah? Yes, yes? Awesome. All right. So that's why it's important. If you don't know what you're doing, you find an amazing certified personal trainer like myself to guide you, all right? So, and if you don't know what you're doing, you get a personal trainer, you get your barometrics done. Really important to get your barometrics done, because then you get to know where your BMI is at, your fat percentage. Oh, you're leaving, you're missing out on the best part. Yeah, but anyway, right? I just being silly. So you get your barometrics done. You know where your BMI is at, right? your fat percentage, your visceral fat. We have fat under our skin, and then we have fat that floats around in our body, belly fat. Most of it is visceral fat, which is really the dangerous fat. All right, guys, so it's really important to know where you're at. So when you start your fitness journey, you try to do your biometrics every month, so that way you can see how you're progressing, if the fat percentage going down, etc. So another thing I wanted to mention before I go into the exercises. So most of the time, right, people get into an exercise program and they lose weight. And they'll be like, oh my God, Roberta, I lost 20 pounds, I lost 10 pounds. I was like, let's don't rejoice as yet, right? Because it's important to lose weight the correct way. So let's say your fat percentage went up, your BMI went up, but you lost weight. You think that you lost weight the safe way? Yes or no? Right. So it's really important, even though when somebody say, oh my God, I lost 10 pounds, I was like, well, let's see, let's do your biometrics and let's compare it to last month, etc. So you lose weight, right? Your BMI went down, your fat percentage went down, then you're losing weight the healthy way. You guys agree? So always remember that when you start a resistance training program, 3 pounds of muscle is equivalent to 1 pound of fat. Muscle weigh more than fat. I don't want to bore you all too much, all right? So we cover all that. And then after you work out, you stretch. Really important to stretch because it increases your flexibility, strengthens your muscles. So that's that in a nutshell. So my objective here today is to demonstrate exercises that y'all could do while y'all in your office. All right, guys? So y'all sitting right now. So let's utilize like a simple little squat. All right? So you're sitting on the chair. Right, come forward a little bit. So you can push the chair back, get yourself all comfy and nice. Yes. All right, chest proud and nice, elongate the spine, right? Pop those chests. Yeah, elongate the spine, relax the shoulders. Feet shoulder width apart, feet flat and nice. All right, guys, so stand for me, stand. Yeah, awesome, little smiles on your beautiful faces. Now listen to me, you're sitting, right? So when you sit, you won't go forward like this. Once your knees pass your toes, the form becomes incorrect. So you push your butt back and you sit, right? That felt good, right? So let's stand again. Let's stand. Woo! And sit. Yeah! 2 more times. Stand. Yeah. Exhale. Sit. Inhale. 1 more. Let's go. Stand. Woo! And sit. So when you're walking in one of your co-workers' office and you see them like standing and sitting, then it's like, okay, just know that they're just squatting, okay? All right, guys? So we did that. Now you're sitting, right? So you come forward a little bit, chest proud and nice. You look straight ahead. You always want to keep your neck in neutral alignment with your spine. Relax your shoulders. So with the left leg, I say left and I pointed at my right leg. So the other left, right? So, okay, guys, chest proud and nice, navel into your spine and your mind, right? Relax the shoulders and smile. Relax those muscles in the face. So, you're raising your feet up like this. Bring it close to the ground and back up, and we're doing knees up. So, I'll stand and do it, but y'all said, see like this. Exhale, inhale, knees up. So, you're working your abdominals. You're working your legs at the same time. And you could do like 12 reps or 4 reps. Just do how much you could do, okay? 4, 6, 12 reps. Then you relax a little bit, right? Relax a little bit, little smiles. All right, you take a couple of breaths. You just look over 1 or 2 emails. And I was like, okay, now to do the next set. All right, so you do both sides and then you do the next set. So just for balance, let's do the right leg. Okay, guys, you all ready? All right, chest proud and nice. Relax the shoulders. Little smiles on the faces. And let's go. Nice and controlled. Not too fast. Nice and controlled. Oh, my God. That feel good, right? Exhale. The muscle being contracted. Bring it back down. Inhale. Good. And now relax. All right, guys. Another exercise you could do at your desk, right? So you're sitting like this. Unfortunately, so far, all these exercises are in the sagittal plane. All right? But I'll show you all something to do in the frontal plane. So your left leg, raise it for me. Chest proud and nice. Look straight ahead. Neck, neutral alignment with the spine. So I want you to raise your feet up like this. Toes flex to the ceiling and back down. So I'll stand and do it. So you're like this. Woo! Exhale on the contraction. You're feeling it in your quads. And back down. Let's go. Let's do 5. 1. Nice and control. Exhale. 2. Yeah. Y'all feeling that? 3. Oh my God, right? 4. Who would have thought? And 5. Oh my God, that felt good. All right, guys. So shake the legs out a little bit. Shake, shake, shake. Yeah. So now we're doing the other side. Y'all ready? Y'all ready? All right, chest proud and nice. Really important. Keep that spine elongated. Look straight ahead. Relax the shoulders. Don't look at the emails just yet. In 3, 2, and 1. Let's go. Exhale. Inhale. 1, 2. Oh my God. 3. Yeah. Baby, why you not doing it? 4. 5. My son, you're bringing out the corrosion in me. And relax. That feel good, right? All right, so now pretend you're looking at the emails. Yeah. That's and relax. Right, that wasn't bad. Okay, another exercise that we could do. So we still sitting at our desk, right? So we sit up straight and tall. This is like one of my favorite exercises. I like to do with my superstars / seniors. Yeah, because seniors are sound so seniors. So I just call them superstars. So you bring your left leg up like this, right? So we're crossing over the right. So we're going like this. Woo! Yeah. Yeah, cross. Chest proud and nice. Come on, cross. Cross. So this exercise is in the frontal plane. Y'all feeling that? Yeah. So let's do 5 more. Ready? 1. Woo! 2. Yeah. 3. 4. 1 more. And 5. That felt good, right? Yes. All right. So now we're doing the other side. Y'all ready? Y'all ready, guys? Yeah. In 3, 2, and 1. Let's go. Come on, cross. 1. You crossing? I watching you. No, Joseph. I remember your name, Joseph. Yeah. Let's go. 5 more. Let's go. 5. Kathy, you doing yours? 4. Yeah. 3. Good. 2. And 1. All right, relax, shake it out, check the emails. All right, so now we're going to combine them, okay, guys? It'll be so much fun. We're almost there. It's so much fun. I know, right? You feel it in your quads? Oh. All right, guys, you all ready? Sit up straight and tall. So, I make it easy. We're doing 3 like this, right? Then keep it up. 3. Ay, bendito. My balance. Yeah, my Spanish. And then we cross, okay, guys? With that same leg. Y'all ready? Y'all have to answer me better. Y'all ready? Masa table. Y'all ready? All right. Okay, guys, ready? In 3, 2, and 1. Let's go. 1. Woo. 2. Yeah. 3. Keep it up. 1. Extend it out. 2. 3. Now cross. 1. Yeah. 2. 3. That felt good, right? Now let's do the other side for balance. Ready? In 3, 2, and 1. 1. Yeah. 2. 3. Keep it up. Let's go. 1. Flex those toes to the ceiling. 2. And 3. And let's cross. 1. Woo! 2. And 3. Good job. Shake it out. Okay, stand for me now. That wasn't bad, right? So I'm going to show y'all exercises that y'all could do for your upper body while in your office using your own body weight. Everybody good? Yeah? All right. So relax your shoulders, feet hip width apart. Keep the knees soft and nice. Try to not hyperextend the knee. Keep it soft and nice. Chest proud and nice. So both hands facing towards your quads or your thighs. Right? Chest proud and nice. And you're bringing up both hands shoulder height like this. And control both hands. I just hold in the mic in the other, yeah. And then keep the chest, maintaining that nice proud chest. Bring it down, yes. And up. Yeah, let's do 10 because we can. 3, good. Keep it shoulder height. 4, that feel good, right? 5, you good, darling? 6, good. 7, yes. 8, woo! 9, 1 more. And 10. So that's sagittal. Hands on the side here. Now we're doing the sides. 10 times. All right, y'all can fake the smile and still the smile becomes you. Ready? In 3, 2, and 1. So let me hold this side. 1. Woo, both hands, baby. 2. Yeah. 3, nice and controlled. Relax the wrist. 4, yeah. 5, woo. 6, good. 7, yes. 8, 9, one more. And 10, relax. So the muscle of the shoulder is made up of the trapezium, rhomboids, and deltoids. You have the red deltoids and then the deltoids in front, right? You all felt that, right? Awesome. So I show you all another nice exercise for your shoulders. So your hands like this. So pretend that you have crazy glutes tucked to the side of your elbow to your waist. All right, chest proud and nice, soft, nice knees. Okay, guys? So you're isolating the muscle, the biceps and triceps, and all you're moving, the movement is from here to here, the forearm, right? So we're going out and in like this. So we do it 10 times, nice and controlled. Ready? In 3, 2, and 1. Little smiles. 1, yeah. 2, that's not bad, right? 3, yes. 4, I know you're enjoying it. 5, yes. 6, good job. 7, good. 8, elbow tugging the waistline, yeah. 9, good job. And 10, all right, that wasn't bad, so shake the hands out. Good job, good job, good job. All right, guys, so one more exercise. So we did something for the shoulders, the upper body. We did something for the legs. And now we're going to do something for the abdominals, the obliques, a.k.a. the love handle Michelin tires. Make sense? All right. So really easy. Soft, nice knees. Palms facing away from you, right? So keep looking forward. Stretch, all right? So we did exercises in the sagittal plane and the frontal plane. If some of y'all have stability ball as chairs in your office, y'all should get it, right? You could sit on the stability ball and you could like push out your hips side to side, work in the obliques, you can make circles on it. That's working the lower abs. And it's just good for your stability, your overall stability, okay, guys? All right, so we're going to do a little stretch, really simple. So one leg in front, the other leg behind. The leg that you have in front, slight bend in your knee. Keep looking straight ahead and put both hands on your waistline like Mr. Universe, Miss Universe, Day Universe. Yeah, you see I got a day in. Woohoo! Yeah, chest proud and nice. So the leg in the back, make sure both feet flat and nice. The leg in the back, hyper-extend your knee. All right? Y'all feeling that nice stretch and a little smile. Relax the muscles in the face. Yeah. Nice, nice, nice. All right. Slowly come onto the stretch. Switch sides. Just take your time. Nice, smooth transition. Chest proud and nice. Leg in front, slight bend in your knee. Hands on your hip. Little smiles. Relax the shoulders. Everybody looks so good. Yeah. You guys look good. And relax. Nice. So the leg in the back, bring it forward. Out to the side, make it a little wider. One hand like this, right? The other hand, just stretch the lats. Just stretch. That stretch feels so good, right? Oh my God, that stretch feels good. Woo! Yes. So a good stretch lasts 15 to 30 seconds. Breathe, and then you repeat it 3 times. All right, slowly come out to the stretch. Let's do the other side. And stretch, yeah, 15 to 30 seconds. Okay, guys? And stretch. Nice, that felt good. Good, good, good. And slowly come out to the stretch. So we have heel, toes, heel, toes. You guys have a seat. You guys did great. So listen to me, right? At the end of the day, our greatest wealth is health. All right? That's really important. We can have all the money in the world, all the intelligence in the world, but if we have poor health, it's not good for us, right? So you keep yourself healthy. We just have one body to live in, all right? So take care of that body, all right? When you take care of yourself, you could perform better, you could be more effective and efficient at your workplace. Yeah, y'all will be like starring. All right, guys, so take care of yourself. Your greatest wealth is health. Anybody have any questions? No questions? Yeah? Yeah, sure. You want us to oh, my phone number. Okay. My telephone number. Oh, let's see how much I love Puerto Rico. 787-607-5220. You see, I kept my Puerto Rico number after all these years. 787-607-5220. And my name is Roberta Etienne. I am blessed to run the GESE Health Insurance Board and Cigna Health Insurance Wellness Program. This is my 6th year doing it. The name of my company is Fit for Life. And I work with a group of certified instructors, licensed medical doctors, dietitian. We work as a team together, all right, because it's a mind, body, and soul connection. And I will send the classes to Laverne. Laverne, thank you for affording me the opportunity to be here today. And she will send it, share it with you guys, right? So we have guided meditation, we have aqua fitness, we have cycling. What else we have? We have classes for seniors. We have classes, this year we'll have classes for kids. We have workshops. We'll have like once a month, a medical doctor come and talk about the importance of getting your annual checkup, which is really, really important. Y'all need to utilize your insurance. Yeah, not that you guys don't utilize it, they're just speaking out loud. We have somebody to come and talk about mental health. We'll have a chef doing nice little gourmet dishes, nutritional stuff. The licensed dietitian will come and talk about the importance of diet, all right? And the team of instructors that I've been working with them for the past 9 years, and they're all certified. They're really good at what they do. I especially handpicked them. All right, guys, so it was so nice being in your presence. Y'all have a beautiful day and continue to do whatever makes you happy, okay? Thank you for having me.
Not even close. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Appreciate your energy. Great. So again, I have to commend everybody who's still here and our friends who are watching with us virtually. So we have come to, after a really, really robust day of discussion and information, our session with Dr. Michael from the University of the Virgin Islands Caribbean Exploratory Research Center, who's going to talk to us a little bit about health equity and bringing it all together. So if you want to take a, well, we just stretched and danced, but that's okay. We need the podium. Absolutely. Oh, and also I want you to just let everybody know that the little hand sanitizers in your bag, those also came from Cultured Naturals. So that's their big partner of ours, so enjoy.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. Unfortunately, I am going to be leaving, so I wanted to do just a little closeout and to say thank you to the entire Disparity team, led by Director Laverne Cole-Marsh. I'm really proud of what we've been able to present here today. I think that everyone has gained something from every participant and every lecture that has actually come by. The questions were sharp, the conversations were good. The conversations were something that we didn't expect, but that's what health equity or seeking health equity is all about. I have to leave because I don't have any babies, but I have a cat, a grandbaby cat that I have to go pick up. So I have to go, and I do apologize, but I know that you're in good hands. Dr. Valman and Dr. Michaels will get together with me, and I know whatever path they're leading us in from this discussion, because this was a tremendous discussion, a day for discussion, will be one that I know that we can live up to. So thank you, Dr. Michaels. I'm so sorry that I'm not going to be here for your conversation. I'm actually taking Assistant Commissioner Ruben Molloy with me, so I apologize for that as well. So thank you all. This was really awesome. Thank you once again, and I'm proud that we could do something like this once again. So thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Oh, yes, yes.
I forgot this one, and I really don't want to leave. CDC is one of the team members that we call CDC our team member because we meet with them practically every day as some entity in the Department of Health. So thank you, CDC, for affording us the grant that would be able to get us here, as well to Governor Bryan, Lieutenant Governor Roach, and the team that supports us so well on a daily basis. Be able to be flexible with us and bring us to where we are. So thank you so much, and thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you. And again, yes, I did want to note, I hope you noted that there was a message. Thank you, Tati. I was looking for. There was a message from Governor Bryan in our booklet. I mean, his support has been steadfast, and we appreciate that opportunity to continue to spread the message of health, because we know that he has been promoting all kinds of health initiatives. I hope we've got a chance to participate, and there'll be more opportunities to do so. So you notice that Shanae was passing around a QR code. We're asking everyone to please help us by completing your evaluation, complete the survey at the end before you leave. Okay, so please, we need the support, we need the feedback, so please continue, please do that. And are we ready, Dr. Michael? 1 minute? Okay. So any burning questions or any comments, anything that we wanted to kind of just touch on before we, Dr. Laverne? Just to give Dr. Michael a minute to get ready.
Good afternoon. I have a couple more prizes to give out for who can answer these questions. The first question is, how many CHWs are part of the Disparities program, and what does CHW stand for? Yeah, if you work for the Department of Health, you're exempt. Well, let me take that caveat. If you work for the Health Disparities program, you're exempt. So if you don't work for our program, you can answer. You wanted to answer?
Community health workers? That I don't know. 6.
The question is, what does CHW stand for, and how many community health workers do we have with our program? Who said 4? She said 4. Okay, I can give out 2 prizes. Yeah. You want to get the prizes for me, please? Thank you. Okay, here's another question. Our grant has a number that's attached to it. The first person that can tell me what our grant number is can get a prize. Thank you. And I have one more prize. If someone can tell me after today, as you are right now, what does equity mean? What does equity mean? Okay, so we'll hold on to that until Dr. Michael is finished then. Yes. Yes. Dr. Michael, you ready? Okay, here you go.
Good afternoon, everyone. I know on the program I have 45 minutes, but of course we started late. I'm going to be one of those folks who's very generous in giving up some of my time. We'll see how that goes. So I just wanted to say good afternoon. I really appreciate the opportunity that has been afforded me to come and speak at this Health Equity Summit. Dr. Valmont is aware that this is one of the areas, and I know she's told many of you in many settings that at one time she worked with us at the University of the Virgin Islands in the Caribbean Exploratory Research Center. A lot of our funding really started with looking at health disparities, and for about 12 years, the Caribbean Exploratory Research Center was funded 100% through the National Institutes of Health, the National Institute for Minority Health and Health Disparities. So the topic of health equity is very close to my heart, both on a personal as well as professional level. So what I am hoping to do today is to try to tie together pretty much all of what has been discussed thus far today. Just to let you know, I don't have any relationships to disclose, not making any money off of this. Nobody who's in my family is making any money off of this, and we have no contracts with, that type of stuff. No relationships to disclose. I wanted to begin by talking about reintroducing 3 terms. All of the terms have already been discussed today: health equity, health disparities, social determinants of health. I'm sharing a very, very short definition of health equity. And the reason that I'm doing this is I want you to keep this definition in mind as we go through the presentation, because I'm hoping that you will be able to see the work that we need to do in the territory to achieve health equity and some of the markers that we have that indicate we're not there as yet. So health equity, taken from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, so all of my graphics, the infographics are all from the CDC website. Health equity, I'm defining as defined by CDC as the state in which everyone has a fair and just opportunity to attain their highest level of health. In the prior panel, I know that Dwayne Howell mentioned the word justice, and I want us to think about that as we think about health equity. For decades, we've been talking about health disparities, and I'm really happy that we have shifted the focus in the summits today and Friday on health equity. So health disparities are inequitable, they're disparities, and what is important for us to understand when we think about health disparities is that they are directly related to the historical and current unequal distribution of social, political, economic, and environmental resources. There are some persons, I think we're all aware, and we have seen particularly on the political front, we don't want to discuss certain realities. That does not make them not realities. They are realities. We continue to have these. The historical issues are with us, the current issues as well. And again, let's keep this definition in mind as we really talk about how we in the territory can move closer to health equity for our residents. I think we've all heard about the social determinants of health. They've been talked about a lot. We talk about doing research within the framework of the social determinants of health lens. We talk about the health equity lens. So social determinants of health, they're conditions in the places where we live, where we learn, where we work, where we play, and those conditions affect a wide range of health and quality of life risks and outcomes. We know, for example, if you live close to a dump, there are going to be issues there. If you live in housing with lead paint, right there, there's some considerations there. So we want to keep those in mind, and I just want to remind us of one of the ways that CDC talks about and represents in its infographic the social determinants of health. We're going to look at a little bit education, access, and quality. And the reason this is important is part of what I've built into my presentation is some of the information that Dr. Frederick shared earlier, where she talked about health disparities in the territory. And we're going to see how they're linked back when she talked about the relationship between some of the health disparities and things like education and income. Those are some of the social determinants of health. So we have health care access and quality, and what is one of the biggest factors that impact health access? Anyone? Access to health care is usually impacted by what? What do we generally need to be able to access health care? Insurance. And again, that feeds directly into the social determinants of health, and we're going to see where we are in our community with that. Neighborhood and built environment, one of the realities is, for example, in the territory, 5% of our population lives in public housing. And for a very long time, public housing was built in such a way that it was a lot of people, a lot of density in a small space. We're moving away from that in the US Virgin Islands, recognizing the impact, again, and how our built environment is related to our health. I want to just go very quickly and share with you these data. I'm going to say they're hot off the press because this is 2020 census data for the territory. I'm not sure if you, and I bring the race and ethnicity information because, again, when Dr. Frederick spoke, she talked about linkages between, remember she said the highest prevalence of obesity is among Hispanics. So we look and see close to 1 in 5 persons in our population now is Hispanic. We have to think about the implications for disease burden and what we do in terms of programs to address that, get us to that health equity place. 71% identified as Black. As of the 2020 census, just over 1 in 5 persons 25 and older reported not having a high school diploma, and that includes a GED as well. So again, when Dr. Frederick spoke, she spoke about the inverse relationship between high prevalence in some areas, diabetes, obesity, hypertension, and persons without a high school diploma. This again says that we have work to do in the territory. Health insurance. So it turns out that based on the 2020 census, just about 1 in 4 persons in the territory is uninsured. And 37% are insured with public insurance. So when you take those two figures together, and we think about providers who don't take Medicaid and are very hesitant, and if you can't pay up front, if you don't have insurance, you get no care. So this access to high quality health care I think these insurance numbers say a lot to us right now. Economic stability. Now, I'm going to tell you that based on Healthy People 2030, the baseline information for the percent of persons in the US that are living below the poverty level is 11.8%. This is nationally. And the target for 2030 is 8%. Let's look at our percentages. Now, I divided this into two columns. The percentages on the left are for families. So you have, let me pull my notes so I make sure I present this accurately. So families with related persons, the percent of families below the poverty level in the 2020 census is 18.6%. That 29.5% is for female-headed families. Then we have families with related children under 18. That percentage of families living below the poverty level goes up, almost 10%. And for families headed by single female heads of households, look at the difference between if you're not in a single-headed family with children under 18. And again, for persons like Ms. Sproul in the infant and toddlers program, Dr. Mayers in the MCH program, and Ms. Concepcion, who's doing WIC, the last set of percentages should be very concerning. So that third set of numbers are for families with children under 5. Overall, 29% living below the 2019 poverty level, and for the same households with single female-headed households, just about 40% living below the poverty level. That's our reality in the territory now. And I think that gives us a really good sense of the amount of work that we have to do to get us to health equity, particularly around access to high quality health care in a fair and just way for everyone in the territory. Then I thought, well, here's another 2030 target. And in 2030, the country would like no more than 25.5% of persons to be paying 30% or more of their household income in rent. Our numbers in the 2020 census for the territory, 42.7% of persons who completed the 2020 census in the territory indicated that they're paying 30 or more percent of their income to rent. This is like a significantly huge gap. And again, for policymakers, this type of summit is where we need our legislators. We need folks from the executive branch, not just folks in the Department of Health, but other agencies, because these are things that must be addressed, and they have to be addressed at a certain level. Moving right along. So these are some of our realities with the social determinants of health. Now, I just want to recap quickly, because Dr. Fredericks covered this. this morning, but I again want to just remind you to put it in context with the data that I just shared from the 2020 census. So diabetes, we know that there's an inverse relationship. So if your educational level is lower, particularly we saw that individuals without a high school diploma, their prevalence of diabetes is 32.2% compared to 14.9%, so double that of the general population if you do not have a high school diploma. Heart attacks, again, although, so we are, it's a disparity, we're worse off than the US. We're not as badly off with heart attacks. However, one of the things we see again, an inverse relationship based on both educational level as well as income level. So persons earning between $15,000 and $24,999, 11.9% prevalence compared to just the general public in the US Virgin Islands. Hypertension prevalence, these percentages, I would say, probably put the VI and the US VI and the US about the same, 31 and 32%. Those are probably not statistically significantly different. But look at what happens, again, in terms of that inverse relationship with educational level and income level. So we go from 31% to 44, and very close to half of the persons low income between 15 and just under 25,000 having hypertension. So again, some other areas for us to do some work. Now, when Dr. Valmont introduced me, she talked about this road to health equity. So I found this graphic, CDC, and I thought this is a good way for us to conceptualize getting us in the territory to health equity. Remember, the more we address health disparities, the closer we're getting to health equity. And the more we recognize and look at those conditions, those social determinants that really contribute to those health disparities, and try to address those that we can do something about, the closer we're going to be to health equity. So health equity says we have three roads. There's a road that deals with programs, and I think when we think about the Department of Health, again, Dr. Fredericks talked about some programs. Mr. Thompson talked about some programs, and we know there are things going on, so we're going to go back to that. Measurement, of course, there was a lot of data presented today, so I'm like in heaven. But for us to do the best we can to continue to reduce health disparities and get closer to health equity, it's got to be data driven. It has to be data informed. Someone can't just have a great idea, because when we're dealing with scarce resources, as we are in the territory, we have to optimize the resources that we have. So we've got to have the data, we have to have systems, and in a little bit I'm going to talk about how I see that the department is moving proactively in this area. Then there are policies. There are laws that need to be passed. I'm going to mention the Complete Streets Act that has passed. This is going to help us to have a more walkable community. We talked about obesity. We talked about physical activity. Dr. Valmont got us to move around. So we did a lot of that today, but we have to extend it, and we have to expand it, and we have to make that physical activity and that physical movement convenient, easy, accessible to everyone. Our chair exercises, those are good for those of us who have family members and friends who have mobility challenges. We can help them in that regard. Infrastructure considerations, we'll talk about that a little bit as we go a little further. So I just wanted us to think about the paving the road to health equity and reminding us again, health equity is when everyone has the opportunity to be as healthy as possible. Not when you have to decide whether you're going to pay your WAPA bill or buy your medication. Not when you're going to have to decide whether you're going to pay your rent or buy some vegetables and fruits because they're so expensive. That's what we're talking about here. Almost done. So I would say that currently the Department of Health does have programs that are geared towards increasing health equity in the U.S. Virgin Islands. Dr. Fredericks talked about some of those, and CERC has been privileged to support the health empowerment program that we delivered in the last few months, open to persons. You know, they did not have to have any money to attend. We hosted the program in 2 public housing communities. That way persons who had transportation issues and were living in the community could have access there. We had various elements to the program, including physical activity, focused on healthy cooking, some content information just so they could learn about really managing their illness. And as Dr. Fredericks mentioned, each person had to set a personal goal around their health. We also have the WIC program, which is critical because for individuals with, that meet the requirements, they get access to healthy foods for their children, and that becomes very important. Infant and toddlers, again, having those children who have needs to be able to get those needs addressed timely by the providers that can do that. MCH does a lot with this, children with special health care needs, as well as the birth to 8 population, pregnant women, and through 25 or teen? I think 21. Okay. So these are all things that are happening. One of the points that was made earlier is that sometimes individuals may not know of the programs that are available. So we need to step up our game in terms of ensuring that the information is out there, and it's out there in a way that can be consumed by individuals who may not, you know, no matter the literacy level. That's the point here. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this graphic because you cannot read it, and usually I don't put these types on. But I wanted you to see the boxes in the middle. Those are the programs. So we distinguish between health equity, between equity and equality, and equity does not equate to equality. So you have the individual on your right, my left, who needed the program to get to optimal health. The person on your left didn't need the program, got to optimal health. And so this is basically, what is it that individuals need to get them to optimal health, and how can we in the territory provide that? That gets us on the road to health equity. Then I wanted to share that CDC talks about really leveraging healthy people to advance health equity. And we've been working Healthy People 2000, and the Department of Health has been shaping its Healthy Virgin Islands around that. We've done 2000, 2010, 2020. Now we're getting up to 2030. And I included this, and when I share the presentation that each of you will get, you'll have access to that. I'll have all the links so you can go and pull those yourself. But I'm just so thrilled that we don't have to depend solely on Healthy People 2030, because right here in the territory, as I mentioned, the Department of Health has been proactively working towards this whole area of health equity. So we have our own Healthy Virgin Islands 2030, our CHIP, our Community Health Improvement Plan. Dr. Valmont has been one of the key persons in that area. I had an opportunity because, of course, the Department of Health believes in partnerships, along with many others in here, to be a part of the process. And so here we are on the road, paving the road to health equity, and part of what is going to get us there in the territory is the implementation of this CHIP. There are 6 priority areas. Access to primary and specialty care. One of the areas that was discussed today and referenced more than once was the whole area of behavioral health. I think we're all aware of the gaps and challenges in the territory around behavioral health. We know we had a spike in suicides after Hurricanes Irma and Maria. We know, based on work we've done in CERC on behalf of the Department of Health, as well as the Community Foundation of the Virgin Islands, that we do have issues around behavioral health, both for, well, not both, for children, adolescents, as well as adults. So those are some areas. And so when we talk about these areas, we have behavioral health and mental health, rose to one of the 6 priority areas. Chronic disease burden, when we talked about obesity, diabetes, hypertension, fall into that category. Interestingly, some work we have done in CERC, we know that oral health is a consideration even with children, but looking at the territories' BRFSS data, we see that repeatedly as well. I don't think I need to elaborate on injury and violence prevention. And remember, in the paving the road to health equity, there's that section about infrastructure. Here it is right here, the public health infrastructure, a priority for the Department of Health. So, you know, we're in good hands, we're on the right track. And one of the things I just want to remind us all who are here, who have been partners, to put the CHIP in place, there have been leads, or the department will be identifying leads for each of the priorities. They will be developing action planning teams and convening those teams. You may be called upon to serve on an action planning team. Please be prepared to say yes, because you will be helping move us along the road to health equity. There will be the action plans will be approved. There will be the development of performance and monitoring plan, again, part of that public health infrastructure. The action plans will be implemented on an annual basis. The Department of Health will be developing progress reports in terms of how we're moving forward on this road to health equity. So I'm excited about seeing how that goes and being able to be a part of the solution. Now, this summit is really supported by the funding for the Community Health Worker Grant, and I just wanted to talk a little bit about what I see as a connection for the community health workers with respect to moving the needle on health equity in the territory. You have a great opportunity for connecting the community to high quality care. I think an example that was given by Dr. Fredericks would be even supporting transportation to and from services, providing assistance in navigating things like setting appointments. And these may seem like simple things, but some individuals, that's what they need. And if you can assist them there, you're moving them closer to really accessing that high quality care. Connecting with clients where they live. We know we do that now with some of our programs, the McVie program, and other programs that go into communities to deliver services, but go into homes to look for our clients, to make sure they get the services they need, they and their children. Supporting targeted patient and client education. Making sure that the language that we use to share information, if we have a flyer, if we have a brochure, that we use plain language, that we have a plain language executive order where we try to ensure that we're not using jargon when we try to communicate with clients and patients. And you know, communicating with clients to augment the care and services provided by clinical personnel. You may be following up on orders given by a physician. Client might call back because they thought they understood what the physician told them, but they sort of forgot and they want some reassurance, and you might be that link for them. So remember to, I believe Mr. Thompson talked a little bit about language and language use. And I just want to share, a lot of times we talk about marginalized groups, underprivileged communities, at-risk groups. And the recommendation is that we shift that description and we say things like people who are not equitably served by whatever the program is, groups at higher risk for, groups placed at increased risk of or for, groups experiencing disadvantage because of. And then instead of talking about diabetics, we might talk about people or persons with diabetes. Don't talk about obese or morbidly obese persons. We talk about people with obesity or people with severe obesity. And that will help us so individuals don't get defensive, but they remain open to the support that we can provide for them. And I believe I am done. Thank you for your attention.
again, a huge round of applause for our final closing presentation, which I thought, I think you can agree to me that it helped bring everything together for the day. Kind of give us a vision of what the department is planning, where we're headed, and again, remember the huge theme for today was partnerships. So we want to thank all our partners, everyone who came out today, everyone who has stayed with us on the live stream virtually, everyone who has helped and supported the Disparities program in putting on this program today. And also want to remind everyone, please do your survey. The QR code is there. And again, thank our MASA partners for being here, as well as Cultured Naturals, because remember I told you the little sanitizers in your bags. So I came from that company. And therefore, again, more partnerships that the Disparities program relies on. So I just want to thank everyone. In closing, on behalf of Commissioner Encarnacion, I wish you the best of the rest of the day and anticipate this is not the last time you will hear from us. We will continue to reach out to our partners. And of course, Media One, thank you as usual for your excellent production. And I think Director Marsh Cole wants to say a few closing words.
Let's hear it for our MC. Dr. Valmont has supported our program immensely. She is my right hand. And when I have questions, she's always there, morning, noon, night, weekends. And so we wanted to tell her we thank you very much, Dr. Valmont. And when I asked her to be mistress of ceremony, she didn't even hesitate. She was, yes. Also, DC John Baptiste, thank you so much for the support in getting our staff on board. Sometimes HR gets, yes, but our team appreciates your effort. Thank you so much. I want to thank everyone who's here. We also have our CFO, Ms. Tatia Monel Hewitt, who's here with us, Dr. Christian, and everyone who is here, Dr. Jerome. We thank you for spending the day with us. Thank you for giving us your time, and we look forward to creating meaningful partnerships that can help to achieve and sustain health equity in the Virgin Islands. Everyone have a good afternoon. Thank you.